All right, guys, gonna try and do a quick little 10-15 minute powwow before we get ready for the open. It is 8:55. It is September 15th. At this point, you should have all the charts up in the alerts. You know, again, one thing I hope everyone takes away from this, whether you join the Alpha team or not, is that, you know, process and plan and preparation is the key to the last. That's what I've been doing. I've been doing it for 22 plus years. I've made a great living at this because I am prepared. I'm not the smartest guy out there. Didn't go to Harvard, didn't go to Yale. I went to SUNY Albany, but I hustled, you know, worked my way through school, paid for my own college. I was also president of my fraternity. So a little well-roundedness, burned the candle from every end, which kind of, you know, embedded the work ethic. As it's my dad's birthday, and I got a lot of it from him. We used to watch him wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, walk the dog, go do some haircuts, go to you know, the salon and whatever it was. Anyway, what to do today? So that's Fisco. Somebody was asking me about, you know, day one into day two. Some people ask me, you know, what's a day one? Why would somebody take home an overnight? Well, this little day one candle that took out this range should have, you know, could have given you a little clues to say, hey, maybe something's cooking here. And obviously, whoever that was knew that maybe, you know, an upgrade was coming, and now it's a 970. So I was just up there, so I figured I would put it up. So as far as the SPYs are concerned, and I kind of drew this morning on the daily chart, just showing you how you have a low, kind of higher low, higher low, higher low. So we have this mini trend line here, okay, that, you know, we just came back to, right, from the 431 highs, and then you had the Jackson Hole move, and then you had the CPI move, but we're still sitting on this trend line. So the question is, does it break? When does it break? How does it break? And you know, it's a big question, right? So we have to act accordingly. Yesterday, there was some money, little surgical money, short the SPYs and the Qs and long the SPYs and the Qs, depending on when. You know, I gave you guys a chart of, you know, the 5-minute chart, which is what I have up on one of my charts when the market starts trading. And it shows you in the morning, you know, you had a quick move lower after the open and matched it. People tried to press, and Apple couldn't go down. Tesla was kind of strong. Some EVs were kind of strong. And then you had a move from 392 to 396, 4 points in the SPYs. You can make a lot of money. You can make your daily bread, right? We all want our daily bread or our daily green drink. I don't eat bread anymore. As you get older, it's hard to eat bread. Unless you work out a lot and you want to, you know, be a brawler. Anyway, so, you know, where are we now? So right now the SPYs are came off the lows. The 830 numbers didn't say much. You know, I guess my macro guy said a little bit that inflation is not as it's in check or whatever. You love bread. I love bread too, Gastano. You're Italian, I can tell. But anyway, we're right back here. So again, it could be a choppy day. Right back here. Do we retest 396? Do we see 397? You know, do we see 399? Or, you know, do we come in and do we retest now, break this a little bit lower because this is your new low. This low mattered yesterday. So we'll see. What's going to give us some clues? Obviously Apple, Tesla, this, that, there's a bunch of them everywhere. But this is just your range for the SPYs. You can do the same thing with the Qs. Qs I didn't do the, you know, the small little chart on. You can almost look right here going sideways. It's pretty symmetrical. This was the low from Tuesday afternoon, right? This was yesterday's high, and then this is where we are. Qs right now are down 55 cents. So these are your ranges. Here's your gap, etc., etc. So we'll see, you know, what happens here. You know, you go to the daily chart of the Qs and, you know, hanging by a thread. You know, I should have named today's note, you know, by a thread. Overall, you know, from here down to here in one day, usually you can't get away from here for a few days, then it breaks. And we'll see how that goes. What could give us clues on what could break? I think Apple. You know, Apple didn't bounce back much. Here was your high, went as high as 157. Had a quick little move in the morning. A bunch of us made money long it, and then I remember at 11:30, everybody's like, Apple's losing relative strength, and then PS, you know, Apple wound up going red, and then at the end of the day, just had a quick push. But But, you know, I don't think the Bears are going to be able to see a move below S&P 3900 unless Apple really, you know, hangs here and then breaks this spot. 152.68, 153.37. Got to get below and stay below, get below and stay below, and then maybe, you know, market sees more downside. Or it holds here, and we see what happens next, and then maybe it goes sideways and then breaks a little downtrend, but we'll see. 10-year TLT's a 108. So with that being said, that's usually decent, right? When the TLTs are up a little bit, it's better for stocks. When it's down, that means yields are going up. It's not, you know, the computers are programmed. If you look at the chart of the TLT, you know, TLT's had a bit of a bounce off 106. Market doesn't really care much about the TLTs unless it's making a new threshold low or unless it's breaking a pattern to the upside. If the TLTs were to get above this spot, you know, maybe that means yields are coming in, and that might help some equities. You know, but usually when TLTs make lower lows, that means yields are making higher highs, and that puts pressure on equities. Same thing with the U.S. dollar. If you look at the UUP, you know, kind of holding in here, right? You had this move lower, which helped equities, and you had the gap, you know, then you had to push up on the CPI. And looks like you're getting a little bit of a wedge here in the U.S. dollar. Which way is it going to break, right? If you want to just look at your eyes and draw a wedge, right? You know, if this gets above that, it's going to be trouble. Yeah, so you have a wedge with a gap. So, you know, 29.25 is a level right there. It's down a nickel. So if the U.S. dollar were to break this to the downside, chances are it's going to help equities. If U.S. dollar starts breaking above this pattern here again, it kind of negates that bar, and that would probably put pressure on equities again. So it's all about the whole different relationships. Nothing I have is really working this morning. You know, I did have a lot of this AMTD. It was as high as 214. I sold probably a third. I always sell when a gap is in my favor, no matter what it is. You know, it was up 7% for a little stock. HKD is something else that people are playing. It's up 25%. I would think in order for AMTD to really go, this HKD, which is a crazy, crazy name, so not to get above 287. Last time this had a nutso move, it went from 80 to 2,500. I remember talking to Joe. I'm like, yeah, why don't we just short 500 shares and go away for a few days? That would have been nice. But anyway, I don't think it's going to happen again. But if it happened to get above 287 and squeeze, chances are, you know, maybe there's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of money here in this AMTD. I don't play that crazy HKD. I bought a little bit of this, and it's up a little bit. Nothing to write home about. As far as other things, you know, Tesla's really strong, hanging in there, showing massive relative strength. I don't know why, but I'm not here to know why. All I know is, again, yes, the EV sector, the alternative sector, the you know, the what's it called, solar names. You know, Tesla does have solar sitting there besides everything else. So we'll see if it continues. If it continues, it's going to be hard for the SPYs to break below, you know, 391. If it all of a sudden loses some relative strength and gets heavier, maybe that helps with Apple breaking below, and then you have other things that are just weak. You know, Meta's weak, Google's weak, Microsoft's weak, NVIDIA and AMD are weak. Some things are making lower lows already, and we're still lots of room to those. So we're gonna figure it out. So Adobe paid 100 times sales for Figma. Is that all? Can I take a look at the banks? Banks aren't doing a whole hell of a lot. The XLF, you know, just like everything else, you know, had a move up for a bunch of days, got hit, did a little red dog reversal here. I guess you could be long the XLF versus 32.95. The XLF it's up 7 cents this morning, while the SPYs are down 50 cents. You know, nothing so exciting there. Because if you had to look at something, look at Goldman Sachs. You know, Goldman Sachs was good post earnings last time. You know, and now this is already back to the lows. I guess if you wanted to be long Goldman Sachs, you know, this is your spot, I guess, right? What's this, 323.25-ish, below the moving averages. This was the last time people sold. This was your buy above 311, went to 358. not much you could really hang your hat on here. They'll be the first to come out with earnings season again. I guess you could say rates higher. Banks are supposed to be able to make money, but we'll see. Rivian looks good. You know, Rivian, I've had for a bunch of days. Yesterday, I bought it, made some money in it. You know, it's getting close to a little breakout area. It's going to need huge volume to do that. It's going to probably need Tesla being really strong as the lead EV. All in all, though, today might be just like a inside day with not a lot of action, or it goes. We'll see. If you had to have a, out here, I would say this is your out. This low here is 37.77, so we might as well move this up. If this is going to be a bull flag, and if this is going to be special, and if this is going to have some power, it doesn't break below 37.77. So you could be leaning along some verse at it. If you happen to see a move through 40.56 and it looks flashy and everything's on the move, I might even add there for a trade. So not so bad. As far as like some of the other little fuel cells, guys are busting my chops to get into plug yesterday, so I bought a little bit. Chart does look pretty good in the right sector, so maybe there's something, something like where's your stop if it doesn't work. Well, this 28-ish should be your stop. And guys were busting my chops with FCell yesterday. We played this stock from like I don't know, 5 to 25 way back when that was here, but this is here. It's tight. Maybe it could be reborn. Last time we were playing this was 2 years ago. Good example of the 21-day rule. So now I'm in a little bit, and we'll see. If it holds 401 and takes out 436, there's some room there, but we're going to need a decent market for that. I did buy some DraftKings at the end of the day. Poked its head above this prior high. Felt like something was coming, but nothing came. So, just if you're in it, it's above the moving averages, and it's got to hold to 17. And then hopefully maybe it breaks above 842 for a trade. But again, we'll see what type of market we're in. I have a very, what's the word? I'm on my toes here. I don't want to, I feel like I'm in all these like little crap spec names because none of the strong quality names look good. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the market might go lower, and then if the market goes lower, I doubt that some of these names that we're in are going to hold up. So you want to have tight stops. Have tight stops on those things because, again, hard for these little ones to work, and don't get hypnotized by them because you can't play NVIDIA or AMD or those guys because they're going lower. Well, will I look to short? I might short Apple today. I might even short Tesla today. I might even short the SPYs today. I did put on some puts for next week, the Wednesdays and the Fridays, just in case the market breaks and it's not conducive in the way I like to short things, because I'm not a great short. So that'll at least get me involved that if we break 390 next week, I could be in some prior to the Fed on Wednesday, and if it doesn't break by Wednesday, I have some just in case it breaks Wednesday, Thursday for next Friday, and then we'll trade accordingly. So that's what I did on with the options. Let's see, CFPB looking at regulating buy now, pay later, AFRM and Square. So I guess those are down. Yeah, AFRM down 6.5%. Yeah, been a broken name for so long. I like to show the weekly chart of this so you could see when you could have gotten out of this thing. So many different ways, right?
Could Square have made that acquisition at a worse time? The very top of that frenzy.
Here's Square. Here's AFRM. Remember this? Look at that. Remember this when it was great? This was great. Trending. Making a ton of money. Then you do Red Dog reversal sell. Broke below the moving averages, and then it's been below since. 8 and 21 day could save you a lot of money. CHPT. All right. Well, we'll see if this EV charging, whatever whole system continues. This is also, it's a nice chart. Can it hold up? If the market's going to break, it's going to be hard for some of these things to hold up, but we'll see. So far, they're holding up. CHPT looks pretty good. What's it doing this morning? Probably down a little. Yeah, it's up 9 cents. So yeah, there are some things hanging in. If the market hangs in and doesn't go down 1,000 points, some of these things could work. If the market wants to break, you better just know your commitment and know what you're looking to do. APA.
Remember Square Rally a lot after they made an acquisition, all the
That looks good.
analysts. Oh.
Yeah, APA had a nice candle yesterday. That was, what's it doing this morning? Up 7 cents. Just, you know,
This is the version of self-time.
USO is down $1.40. It's down 1.9%. So usually when oil is down like that, you know, you're not gonna have a big move in some of these, you know, Oxy, APA, this and that. Like, but it's a day that you want to buy maybe a dip. Like Oxy's down $1. No follow through in any of these things. So Oxy is, you know, still tight. If you had no Oxy and you were worried that it was going to have a gap up, now it's down $1, so maybe that's your spot to buy a little bit of a dip. Could be, could be. Could be, could be. Right, it's 9/11. Gotta get myself in gear. Gotta do a little tinkle tinkle so I can come back, and I'm gonna turn this off for now. You guys have your 35 charts. You have your little briefing beforehand. You know what you're looking at. We're gonna figure it out. You know, have your plan, have plan A, B, and C, and we'll see which way things go. And I'll try and execute as well and make some money and keep putting it together. That's what you have to do. You have to net money, put it together, hit some singles, and then when it's time for that double, triple, home run, that'll make your P&L for the week or the month. But, you know, again, staying in the game and little paper cuts are fine. You know, just don't lose your cool and have the gushers. Gushers is what will put you out of business. And none of us want to be put out of business because we're having too much fun, right? Listening to music, doing some charts, drinking our green drink. You know, when times are good, we're making a ton of money. And you can do it from anywhere around the world. And you can tune in from anywhere around the world. So we're going to continue to do that. I'll see you guys in a little bit.